Also new tonight here on The Current, we are turning to a groundbreaking computing tool. 30 years ago, a small team of scientists from around the world began work on R. Today, R is a free computer program that helps people, everybody from researchers, analysts, scientists, even students and businesses, as they're making sense of large amounts of information. So R can organize huge amounts of data. It can look for patterns, create charts and graphs, and even organize findings. And the core team that built it has now been awarded the International Rusanua Prize for Statistics. It's referred to as the industry's Nobel Prize. One of those 5 team members is the newly retired University of Iowa professor, Luke Tierney, and he joined us earlier today to talk about his work and this monumental win. Luke Tierney, recently retired professor of mathematical sciences and now University of Iowa professor emeritus, is joining us right now. Thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on your award. I gave a brief introduction, but really how big of a part of your life has R been?
It's probably about half of what I've been working on for the last 30 years and more than half for the last 10 probably. So in terms of work life. So it's been a big part.
Well, for the past 30 years, what really has been the focus of your work with R? What have you been doing with it?
I two different things. I use it in teaching. I've used it for, I've been teaching mostly graduate courses. I use it for training people in learning how to use computers to analyze data. That's the using side. And then I've been working on, roughly speaking, trying to make R better, more robust from the inside. I tend to mostly work on things that are under the hood inside of R. Um, yeah.
For people that don't work with huge amounts of data every single day, we are talking about the language of R is what you've been focused on for the past 3 decades. When we say
Yeah.
language of a statistical computing program, are you physically doing mathematics for that? Are you building out the code? What does language mean?
Um, so the language, R is a language that you can use to say what you want to have done to your data. So request an average be computed or a standard deviation to build some sort of visualizations of multiple averages and things like that. Um, so that it's a language that lets you express different kinds of computations you might want to do. So we, as the developer, provide the basic building blocks that let data scientists do what they want to do. They don't have to implement the details. We do that, but they look at the high level picture and compute the things they want and visualize the things they want using the tools that we provide.
Is this something that you knew, back in the 90s that this was, you were interested in coding and the languages behind it, or did you kind of find this passion as you worked on this?
Um, Kind of, but go back 10 years. I was doing a difference program for similar things, different language in the early 90s, and I have a book on that. That was focused on interactive graphics, but again, a language for doing it, for working with it. And then I joined the R team when they started. I was invited because of that. I was invited to join the R team, so I shifted over to working on that project. Um, but yeah, it's something I got interested in as I saw things that people were able to do if they had a lot of research money, but I was interested in me being able to do it and other people being able to do it. So that led me to developing computer programs for others to use.
Today, we think of R as being one of the most influential programs to come out of the last 30 years. It has impacted countless people all over the world. But back in 30 years ago, back in the 90s, this is a really small group of people that was working on this. When you were
Mhm.
approached by your colleagues out of New Zealand about this, what were your first thoughts?
that it would be a fun project and a lot of fun people to work with, and we might have a couple hundred users at some point. It
So
got a
how
little bigger than that.
I was going to ask, was there a moment when you kind of realized, oh yeah, this is huge?
Uh, I think we started to, in the mid 2000s, we started to realize that this was having a big impact, and the number of users was growing, the number of extension packages that people were built writing was growing enormously, and it's not slowed down much.
Well, I know a lot of people in my own life that use R, have used R, but what would you summarize the impact that R has had on the world, academic or even beyond?
Well, in academia, it's become the way in which people who write theses and PhD theses, even master's theses in statistics, the ideas they come up with, they turn it into code using R so that other people can use their ideas. And that's so it's had a huge impact within this field. Um, it's become very widely used in areas like data journalism when people are writing, uh, analyzing data to make put into newspapers and other publications. R is a very heavily used tool for doing that for both the computations and the visualizations. Um, a lot of pharmaceutical companies have started using R because of the open source nature. Means they know what's in it, rather whereas closed source things they can't be sure. But also a lot of the older closed source products are really expensive, and R is free. So that's a big reason it's been used in those areas. So,
I wanted to ask you about that. It's one of the hallmarks of R is that it is open source, that it's free and available to anybody. And the team that works on it, you guys don't get paid anything. What is it, one paid position when it comes to R? Why is this so important to you guys to put so much time and effort and resources into this over the years?
I mean, the open source idea is it's not just R. It's many other things like the Linux operating system. It's important to make it available so people can build on it. Also, almost all of it is built. We didn't write every single line of code all by ourselves. We use code that others have made available. So we're basically paying back uh, for the efforts others have done. So it's a way of looking at things. I mean, being open source means you can audit it. There's nothing hiding behind uh, a proprietary screen that you can't get into. If you want to know how a calculation's done, you can go and look at the source code and figure it out. And if there's a mistake, you can let us know. Um, so it's a philosophy that a lot of people are comfortable with, and we are in particular. So,
Has the role that R plays in the global landscape shifted at all over the last 4 or 5 years with the explosion of AI?
I think it's shifted a little bit with the very large data sets that some people work on, and in some cases, there'll be there are more tools available in the Python universe than from R. Um, Other than that, where AI has been coming into play is that when you write code using R, for example, to build a complicated graphic, um, AI can help a lot with that, and people are still learning how to do that effectively, how to properly prompt the different AI tools to give you the code. But there may be things that we can do eventually to make AI's life easier to build code, but we're not there yet. So it's interesting times.
R has been used by millions of people all over the world. I mean, you've estimated there have been as many as 24,000 open source packages created with it. I am really curious if there's been a project or a data set created from R that has stuck with you over the years.
There's so many. I really, really don't think I can put my finger on any one particular one. Um, you know,
Are there a few that stand out in your mind as having a specifically large impact on society or on people?
and there's a lot of different areas. One exciting area has been making visualization of spatial data easier to do, and there's been a lot of open source development there that R has facilitated and benefited from. That's one area I can think of, but I'm sure there are others that I can think of with a little more time. But
Yeah, it's not fair I'm putting you on the spot, is it?
Hmm.
But, I was talking to people, both within our newsroom here at WQ80, but also just people in my life who use coding every single day. And I was really struck by the amount of reverence with they spoke about you and your work. I heard the word genius thrown around a lot of times. I mean, are people often starstruck around you?
No, not that I notice.
Well, then do you accept the mantle of genius?
Mm, not really. I think I'm reasonably good at what I do, but there are lots of people who are better. So,
Well, certainly good enough to win this incredibly prestigious international award. It's a $1 million prize. What are you guys going to be doing with your share of the money?
I I haven't really talked to others about it. For me, I'm probably going to figure out how I can put the money back towards helping our continue to grow. We have a foundation that people can donate to that can be used to support travel of our core members and sometimes to hire someone to help with things. And that's probably what I'll try and do is put my share. I can't speak for any of the others, so, but it's a nice problem to have.
Certainly is. And speaking of nice problems, I mean, you've been working on this project for 30 years. Now that you've retired 15 days ago, I mean, from the University of Iowa, what's next for you and for R?
I expect I'll continue working on R for a while, and I can just focus on that. I don't have to deal with being a faculty member anymore. Um, but other than that, I'll, some traveling and one of my activities is I'm a fencer and I try and do more fencing now that I have more time for it. So, but it's only been 15 days. I'm still getting used to the retirement thing.
So you're not done with R just yet. But I'm
I don't
curious,
think so.
you don't think so?
Eventually I will have to give up on it, but and probably need to spend time thinking about how to turn over some of the things that I do to other people. But yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you about those other people. Is there a lot of younger people that are interested in doing what you and the other R core team have done?
Not a lot, but there are some. And we've been reaching out with developer workshops and things like that to try and get people interested in contributing. And we're getting some good people to come in. It's challenging because a lot of people, there are a good number of people who want to help, but we can't pay you for it right now, for the most part. So it has to be something either you do in your own time or you have an employer who's sympathetic to, and that's there. That does happen. So, but you know, it's something we'll have to keep looking into. But I'm reasonably optimistic we'll find younger people to take over.
Well, then before I let you go, I wanted to end with any advice you might have for any younger people or younger at heart out there, whether it's computing statistics, or something else. What advice do you have when it comes to pursuing one's passion, maybe even in the face of you're not going to get paid for it or it's going to be a lot of time and effort and long hours?
Well, if you enjoy it, it's worth doing. You'll get a lot of experience, and even if you're not directly paid for it, you'll probably be able to use that experience in other things that you are getting paid for. Um, so you have to keep in mind that there's only so many hours in a day, and some of it you have to spend earning a living. But you learn a lot working on something like this that does benefit in many different ways. So I hope we can get some more young people encouraged in that way.
Well, can you leave us with maybe one lesson that you've learned over the years?
I think one of the things I really appreciate is the value of working with others. And, it's a group of, with 19 people of various levels of activity. And, some of us have other things for a while, but it's really good. It's a lot more fun doing this with others than doing things completely on your own. And that's something I really learned to appreciate. So,
Well, congratulations on this award. Thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate this more than you know.
thanks very much.